I'm LeAnn and this is Leah. And today we're gonna pull out the grill and prepare for summer fun.
First, we want you to subscribe and ring that bell to get notifications to eat Wyoming in the future. This summer, you can cook up a simple grilled romaine salad, grilled seasonal veggie medley, and Kafta Kebabs.
High Plains Grower out of Gillette has produced this homegrown romaine lettuce right here in Wyoming. We have sourced these seasonal veggies for today's recipes from Lloyd Craft Farms in Worland and Painter Produce in Torrington. These veggies have their highest nutritional value fresh in season. So we recommend you get your veggies from your local farmer's market, producer, or farmer in your area because you'll get the most nutrient-dense vegetables when you source them local. So let's fire up that grill.
I'm sure you've had plenty of romaine salads, but have you ever tried grilled romaine? Today we're going to show you how to actually bring out more flavor from the local romaine lettuce, and we're going to make a green goddess dressing to go along with that. So for the romaine, this nice beautiful head, you can take off any of the loose leaves that are in the way, but we want to keep this intact, and we're going to cut right down the middle, so from the leaf to the root end, and open that up. And we're going to cut that one more time. Take any of the loose pieces off for any of your other barbecue needs. And we're keeping this root end intact to hold it all together. We're going to drizzle that with a little bit of olive oil. This is one of the infused oils, the garlic rosemary from Papa Joe's Produce. Do a little bit of that and a little bit of salt and pepper. And put it on the grill, and you want that to be at a high heat. We want to sear it quickly and take that off. And we're going to put that directly on here. And we'll turn that once so we get an even grill on both sides. And while that's grilling, we're going to make our dressing. Just turn that down slightly. So for our green goddess dressing, we need green onions. And we're going to cut these all the way to the whites. And you can cut these as big or as little as you want. They are going to go into a food processor. And if you like big chunks of green onion, you can also save some to the side and fold them in at the end so they keep their texture. You can also save these little root ends and replant them, and they will continue to grow throughout the season. So we have our green onions. We have our fresh herbs, about a cup of them. This is usually basil, but we've added some dill, some parsley, some cilantro, some rosemary, to really bring all those fresh herbs that are in season right now. And then we're also going to add all the herb stems from the parsley and the cilantro and cut those a little bit smaller. And you can hear our grill sizzling in the background. So we're going to want to turn that over. You can see that nice grilled texture. Let's see. You can see the texture of the lettuce changing already. We're going to add 3 cloves of garlic, a cup of Greek yogurt, a cup of mayo, And then we're gonna do a little bit of lemon zest and juice. Should be about 3/4 of a cup of lemon juice, but we're also gonna use some of our tarragon infused vinegar from Heart Mountain Creations today. So we'll start with our lemon. We are gonna strain this out so that we're not eating seeds. And then top the rest off with our vinegar. And then this also calls for a little bit of salt and pepper. Fresh cracked pepper is the best. It brings forth the most flavor, especially for a dressing like this. And we're going to turn our grill off here because that should be ready. And we're going to add 2 anchovies. These are packed in oil. And this gives it a nice depth of flavor that you don't get from anything else. So this is a nice simple dressing to keep on hand for all of your barbecue needs as a dip or as an actual salad dressing. Nice and fresh and light, and it's ready for our grilled romaine. Okay, now we're going to take our fresh seasonal vegetables and prepare them for a grilled veggie medley. Now we have all of our veggies prepped to go on the grill. We're going to oil these up, add a little bit of salt and pepper, and then we're going to place them on intentionally so that we can monitor how long they need to cook. And I've chosen the infused olive oil again. And we're just going to drizzle a little bit, and we want to get that nice char from it. And we've got quite a few harder vegetables that we're going to start with. So carrots is the first one. It's a root vegetable. It's going to take a little bit longer, and it has the most sugar to develop, which is what grilling likes to do for these veggies. So we're going to add those first and let those cook. And then I like to add a little bit of char with these onions that I've left the root intact to hold them together. So those are going to go on the longest. And if they do look like they're falling apart a little bit, there's these nice veggie pans that you can use that hold everything together. And then we'll start in with these squash. So we've got the zucchini that we've cut in quarters. And we have the summer squash. And we want to get those on those nice squared off edges so we can get clear grill marks. Otherwise it looks exactly like roasted vegetable medley. And then we're going to start rotating as these things complete their cooking cycle. And you can take this and set up a cutting board just like this to be able to pull things off and cut them, and we're going to transfer them over here and mix them all together. So we've also got some English peas that we're going to add. Can already smell the delicious onions charring. We're gonna add our beans, and these do work best on this veggie pan because they are just wide enough to fall through the grill grates, so finding something like that is very helpful. You want to be pretty careful with the green beans because they do char fairly easily. We don't want to eat carbon, we want to eat green beans with a little bit of grill on them. So these are going to take the least amount of time as we go here. And we can check for grill marks. Starting to see a few of them on the carrots. We're going to let those go. And this is something you can do ahead of time so that you're not taking up space on your grill for all the prime meat or other larger veggie items. And we're going to put a few of our asparagus on. And it helps to keep all of the heads of the asparagus in the same direction. Those are the most tender parts as we cut off the woody section there. So you can keep those away from your main source of heat so they don't get too charred or burnt. And this veggie medley can be done with fall-based vegetables as well. Things like pieces of butternut squash, sweet potatoes. I've added cherry tomatoes that are ready a little bit later in our growing season, but it's best to use exactly what's available during that time of year because they're gonna taste better. Their sugars are more readily available, they're more nutrient dense, and that will show in this grilling process. Nice caramelization on our onions. And that little bit of char on your carrots is what you're looking for. It's bringing out all those sugars. Hear that nice sizzle, which means it's starting to bring some of the liquid out of the veggies. You can see them changing texture. And if you have a little bit more than can fit on your grill, that's okay. This is a rotating process. So as I've decided that these carrots get done, if this is as far as I want them, and I want them a little bit more textured, then we can go ahead and take those off and carefully, watch your hands, this is hot, cut those into smaller bite-sized pieces and transfer them to our pan. And I can do that with this onion because that one looks right about ready. So we're gonna cut that root end off and cut this in smaller pieces and add that into the rest of it. And we want to make sure to put this on a metal pan that's safe for the grill so that we can actually put this on the second shelf while we finish cooking everything else. We'll stay nice and hot and carry that cooking over. Go ahead and take the rest of our carrots off here. Look at the nice blistering on that, really bringing those sugars out and cooking them. I'm gonna leave that bigger one on for a little bit longer. Starting to get some nice grill marks on the squash. And our beans are getting some nice char on them. It's okay if you lose an asparagus or two. Sending it back to the earth where it came from. And we'll just keep cutting as they get cooked to the right amount. And this you can serve plain and simple with just this little bit of olive oil, salt, and pepper, or you can add a dressing to it if you'd like. There's a carrot top pesto that we make, or the green goddess dressing on the top. rotate these peas too. So leaving the peas in their shells allows it to steam the actual peas, and you get a little bit more out of that instead of normally you'd shuck that out of there. And sometimes they escape anyways. Look at that deliciousness. Now that we've got a little more space, we can add a few of our zucchini to this veggie tray and rotate those out. If you have a big barbecue coming up and people are bringing other things to grill, you can also make this ahead of time to get your grill warm. And then it's in the oven waiting for when everyone else's items are ready. This is also a great meal prep item, something that you can grill off when it's nice out and keep on hand, especially for our lovely Wyoming springs that can throw any manner of precipitation at us at any time. All right, so for these peas, I just want to make them a little bit smaller, and you're going to want to be careful with that oil on them. And the same thing with the beans. We just want to cut them down so that they're bite-sized, so you're not getting a big string of something that you're trying to eat. There we go. Nice grill marks. Bring that little bit of meaty grill flavor to these veggies. You especially want to be careful with these onions. They do get a little bit slippery once they've been grilled, but they add that great flavor to those veggies when they get mixed in together. And we'll start cutting squash. And finding that flat side will keep them from running away on you. That is all of our asparagus. We have a few onions to finish here and some squash. Nice caramelization is what we're looking for. See that nice combination of colors and textures and flavors. Make it one of those veggie dishes that not a lot of people will walk away from. So don't be shy about adding veggies to your grill and get grilling. We're going to make Kafta Kebabs with beef and lamb from some of our local producers. The lamb guys out of Douglas is a good example, or Centennial Valley is one of our beef producers. There are several others on our website, be sure to check that out. So these kebabs are similar to meatballs in style, but they have a lot of Middle Eastern or Mediterranean spices to them. So we're gonna start off with about 2 cups of parsley, and we're gonna cut that from the leaf end, and we're gonna add that into our food processor first. We don't wanna overwork the meat, so we're gonna add a lot of our other ingredients first. So we're gonna add that, and we have a dough blade on here, so we're not gonna chop it down too fine or crush it. We want a lot of that flavor in there. And we're gonna add half of this large onion. Taking off the outside papers, and we're just gonna give it a nice little chunk so it has a head start. And then we're gonna add 3 to 4 cloves of garlic, and you can smash those so that they grind up a bit easier. Make sure we're keeping the edge of our knife away from our hand. We are cutting garlic, smashing garlic, not cutting fingers. And we'll add that in there and give it a whirl. We just want them in slightly smaller pieces so that when we add the meat, we're not mushing it all down together. All right, slightly smaller, got some decent pieces to it still. We're gonna add in all of our spices. We'll have an ingredient list for you, including our lemon zest. And we're going to add our ground lamb and our ground beef. And you can use either a piece of bread or some panko breadcrumbs. We're gonna add about half of those to begin with. And then add the rest once we've let it go for a minute. It's starting to mix those things together. If it's not mixing too much of the meat at once, you can push that down. Also, a really good trick with onions is to eat mince or mint gum so that you're not crying like I currently am. We're gonna give it another mix, make sure everything gets homogenized here. Starting to get there. It'll be a meatloaf-like texture or a meatball. And you can already smell the cardamom and the lemon zest and the allspice coming out of it. Instead of lemon zest in the traditional recipes, this is actually used with sumac, which is one of our native plants here in Wyoming. You can see it start to form a ball. Which is what we're after, that big meatball. So this is about the perfect texture for what we want. It's got everything mixed together, nice and homogenized, the beef and lamb fats together. And we're gonna form these into little dough balls. So we don't need to add any more of our panko breadcrumbs. We want to form little football shapes. You can put these around skewers to make them easier. And we're going to make them so they're just a couple of bites in case someone wants to try this. And we'll form several of those. And these you can definitely make ahead of time. This is also great for those that don't use eggs as a binder because it takes over the flavor of a meatball. Using the food processor helps bind the fats and proteins together. All right, you'll see nice big pieces of parsley in here, fresh herbiness. Just gonna help bring out some of the natural flavors of that beef and lamb. So now we're gonna take some of our habanero oil here. And let's see, we will drizzle that so that we've got just a little bit to keep it from sticking to the grill, but we're adding a little bit of spice as well. And I've got an extra grill pan on, so we're not losing pieces between them. You can make them larger pieces if you don't have a grill pan. We're gonna sear those on both sides, and you can finish those in the oven or on the top shelf of the grill if you've got other things going on. And this is best served with a cucumber salad, a tzatziki sauce, some pitas, maybe a little bit of rice or tabbouleh salad. But a great alternative to just regular old burgers on the grill. Something new for barbecue season. You can also layer meatballs with peppers and onions and put them all on the grill together with skewers. A little bit of Mediterranean spice. So enjoy and get grilling.